MANBAT. Okay. MANBAT. Judging from the looks, ooh, MANBAT looks really good. Judging from the thumbnail. But, okay. It's kind of weird that a few villains have the best designs. This one is one of the better designs. MANBAT. Let's get it.
In the early 1920s, the many fields
There's
of
no
science
subtitles.
were continuously being developed and refined. This also meant that there were many gray areas. One such gray area was in the work of Russian scientist Ilya Ivanov. Ivanov had the full backing of the Stalin regime in the field of study and experimentation pertaining to crossing animal DNA with human DNA. He had given presentations on such theories as early as 1910, but did not receive enough funding until much later. He attempted many experiments. Wanting to stay ahead in the science race, a branch of the United States government sought out any scientist they could to spearhead their own experimentation. Dr. Kirk Langstrom had been working in the cross-species field for years to develop ways of helping humankind.
Like blindness
The
and
U.S.
such?
government approached him and offered him support and funding if he would work for them. Langstrom accepted, jumping at the opportunity to further his research. He started really making progress in his experiments, and things were advancing beyond his wildest dreams. What he did not expect was that he would start to lose his hearing. He saw his position as an opportunity to find a cure for his oncoming deafness. He refocused his research to look into
He was
bats,
losing his hearing?
wanting to find a way of utilizing the
Why?
sonar capabilities of their ears. This detour from his normal experiments caused problems.
Oh boy.
The U.S. government decided to threaten him with a cease of funding as the project seemed to be going nowhere. Langstrom suddenly found himself with little time, minimal funding, and a newfound desperation. He made the drastic decision to experiment on himself.
Oh gosh.
No one knows how, but Langstrom found a way to bond himself with bat DNA. It transformed him from a studious scientist into a gangly hybrid monster. His ears became large and pointed like a bat, his fingers became like claws, and his behavior became animalistic. Confused and drastically transformed, Langstrom wandered into the city, causing mass panic and dismay. Many people were injured during the mayhem. The U.S. government abandoned their project altogether, seeing it as a failure. No such attempt on cross-species genetics has been made since. The Batman, seeing the pandemonium all
Because
out of
of-
control, went to
Oh damn, Kirk really had a good thing going until he loses his heariness. He faced the lack of funding and had to experiment on himself. And he doesn't become a bat monster, he just becomes an actual hybrid. He's still human, but the nails, the behavior, the ears. Is there the wings? I don't see any wings.
investigate, and managed to bring the beast down. Langstrom was transferred to Blackgate Federal Penitentiary as a new addition to their special inmate program,
What?
and fitted with a custom cell where he could be observed and potentially cured.
Oh,
Curing the MANBAT, as he was dubbed by the Gotham Gazette, proved to be impossible.
oh.
Langstrom's research and notes were nowhere to be found and are still lost today. Therefore, reverse engineering the process was not an option.
Oh, damn.
Being named the MANBAT, like a cruel play on the Batman's moniker, seemed to drive Langstrom even further into his animal behavior. The records of what became of him are also lost, but some claim he may still roam the island on which the former penitentiary resides, and if you listen hard enough, you may just hear the inhuman screeching of a bat.
Oh no. There's no jump scare? Okay. So, I don't think there was much to contribute to the time period. Again, I will admit, I do like that Dr. Kirk Langstrom is not. This particular Man-Bat is not really a monster bat. He's just more of an actual human who has been growing the bat ears, the animalistics and such. But where's the wings? We don't see the wings. He's just a humanoid monster. I don't know why they would just get rid of the documentaries and such. I'm not sure if Kirk actually destroyed the documentaries or the scientists and people foolishly did so because, whatever, he's useless. But I just realized this is more or less kind of the same thing with Mr. Freeze. They both were doing pretty well. They even got funding, but when they started to lose something, like Mr. Freeze with his wife, Kirk with his hearing, that's when things go downhill and they just lose funding and stuff. I really don't know if they stopped the funding because their emotions were getting in the way. But it just... with Miss Freeze, I can understand why, because it could be the wife getting in the way and he needs to come to the terms or something. But with Kirk, he's just losing his hearing. He's going to have to learn sign language and stuff. But if he's trying out new crossbreeding and stuff, just let him try out the cure for deafness and stuff. I mean, this is Kirk. This is a scientist who is not really losing a love interest, just his hearing, which, if he had been given more time and funding and stuff, he probably would have handled it. He probably would have gotten a cure for deafness. But of course, they just fucked it up. I'm actually starting to see more problems now. This is the same motivation with Mr. Freeze. They just changed what they were losing. What Kirk was losing. Mr. Freeze is still a monster. Man-Bat is still a monster. They both got really good jobs. They were doing pretty well when they start to lose something. And also, there is barely anything that contributes to the time period. However, granted, Mr. Freeze was one of the few allowed into the U.S. And Mr. Freeze had one thing that contributes to the time period. But for this one, I really don't see anything that contributes to the time period. I mean, the design in the Man-Bat being different and not a monstrous bat, that's not really saying much. It's a different, unique concept on its own. But I feel like they just made him that way, so that way they can just cover up the laziness with coming up with anything to contribute to the time period this is set in. Oh God, is this documentary series starting to decline? If you like what you see, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel, and I hope you have a good day or night and take care.